Hi guys, it's Erin from Ginger's Florals. Today I'm going to start my first batch of seeds for the February groupings. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the different varieties that we're going to be growing. The first one I wanted to talk about is Rudbeckia, Black-Eyed Susans. These are some of my absolute favorite cut flowers. They're super easy to grow, and they put out multiple sets of blooms every year. They're close to a cut and come again, but it's a slightly longer gap in between cutting a bloom and getting a new one. They're somewhere a little bit slower, but still fantastic. And these guys will bloom for me all the way into the fall. So I still had blooms on my Indian summer Rudbeckias, I think in the end of October this last year. They were just gorgeous. I got them when we had a frost in the I think it was November when we had our first frost, and they were still there, and I got some beautiful pictures of it. I love that. So the two different types that I've grown lots of Rudbeckia over the years, different varieties, and I want to talk about my two favorite, and I'm going to grow more of these than anything else this year. The first one is Indian Summer, and this one is the classic great big yellow, almost school bus yellow flower with a brown center, the brown-eyed Susan, black-eyed Susan. That's where the name comes from. But these guys, I'm telling you, they'll have 6-8 inch blooms that first flush that comes up, and they're just gorgeous, and they just fill out a bouquet. And if you're looking for something bright, because they come on in the summertime, later on in the summer, and that's when you want the big bright bold colors that are just gorgeous. They go really well with sunflowers, especially later in the season if you grow darker colored sunflowers. These are some of the best. They're really easy to start. They'll grow, I don't know, probably 3 feet or so tall, so you get really long stems, and the deeper you cut them, the longer the subsequent stems will be. So yeah, I'm gonna grow I think just one tray right now. I'm going to succession sow these. So they do, because they have that lull after you cut the first set of blooms, I'm going to see if I can't fill that gap. I'm going to grow one tray of these and one tray of this other type, and then in about a month, in March, I will do that again. I will sow a couple more trays to fill out the row that I've got them going into. The other variety that I love, this one's my absolute favorite, is called Sahara. It's got lots of, it's a blend. It's got lots of different colors. It'll have the deep burgundy. It'll have a pale sort of beigey color. It'll have yellows, but they're all soft. None of it's like jarring, bright primary colors. They go really well with lots of different colors. And one of my favorite bouquets, maybe I'll find a picture of it, that I did last year, had these Sahara Rudbeckias in there, and then I had some purple, it was asters and lisianthus, and for some reason that cool purple color went so beautifully with the browns and muted colors that were in these flowers that, yeah, it blew my mind. I loved it. My customers, I don't know how many of them walked by and came back and stopped just because they'd never seen anything quite like it. If you want to grow easy cut flowers that give you lots of blooms all the way into the fall, try some Black-Eyed Susans, Rudbeckia, Sahara specifically. Okay, the next one I wanted to talk to that we're gonna start is Lavatera. I talked about this a little bit in the last video that I did, but these ones they're unusual for around here. I don't know anybody else that grows these here, but they do really well. They are, the plants get probably 2.5, 3 feet tall, and they have multiple blooms of these beautiful, here, I'll show you it. I don't know if you can see that picture. This one's malope. It's the same thing basically, but they look almost like hibiscus blooms, and they can get pretty decent size. They're not as big as a hibiscus, but they'll get, you know, 3 or 4 inches across. And when you cut them, if you cut them when the first buds are just turning color, you can get, it'll have a good long base life, and it'll bloom continuously for a good week, 10 days. The old petals will fall, but that's okay, because it'll still keep putting out more. So the varieties that I got are white one. This is a Mont Blanc. This malope is called Vulcan. That was the pink one that I showed you. And then the other one that I've got is called Pink Blush. And oh my gosh, I just love this. It's so romantic and soft. And again, it's really easy to grow. I left a couple of I saved a couple of the seed heads off of the ones that I grew last year. We'll see. I don't know much about whether or not they will cross-pollinate or how they grow really from seed. But I saved a couple of those, and I might, I think I might sow some, not today, but a different day, and put them separate and see what comes of it. But like I said, these are super easy to grow. They're just the most romantic, soft, delicate flowers that really do a great job as supporting flowers in a bouquet, especially ones with lots of pinks or purples, softer colors. I love them. And like I said, they're sort of unusual. So if you are one that likes to not have the exact same thing as everybody else, try these out. They're lovely. Okay, the next one that I'm going to sow is Feverfew. These ones, they're pretty classic. Around here in zone 8B, you can start them in the fall, and I've done that before, and they worked really well. I have some that are still in the garden. I just cut them down, and I'm hoping they can be perennial, so I'm hoping that they're going to sprout and bloom this spring. If not, I'll rip them out. But I'm going to start another batch of Feverfew just because, as backup, I guess, for the ones that are out in the garden. We did have a colder than usual winter, so I don't really know how well that's going to work. So these are called the Magic Single Feverfew. They're just the classic little white daisy looking flowers that come in a spray, and they fill up a bouquet really lovely. They come on usually in the late spring for me, and they do so well. They're classic. Everybody knows it. They will come on in a flash, and you could fill all of your bouquets with them, and then they're done for the season. You can cut them back, and they will flush again. I did that last year with one of mine, and they did in the late summer, early fall, when it cooled down again. They flashed again. So you can direct sow Feverfew if you live in a zone here, like zone 8, 9. That's where you can direct sow them, and they'll self-seed also. If you just leave the plants in there, they should self-seed and resprout. I grow mine in the greenhouse just because I have more control, and you never really know what the weather is going to do in the late winter and early spring. This year has been weird. It's so warm. I have anemone blooming, and it's a good month ahead of schedule. So I'm not complaining. I love it. It's beautiful. Today is just a gorgeous sunshiny day in February. It's very unusual. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. I'm going to go outside and spend some time. I think I might cut some flowers today. So yeah, Feverfew, it's a really good, easy one to grow. It's a tender perennial in zones 5 through 9, so it should be okay, I'm hoping. And then they put on so many blooms. One little plant will have 10 sprays, and each spray has 15 blooms on it or so. So give these a try. They're super easy, especially if you're in this zone. They can be perennial, and yeah, they do great in a bouquet. The next one that I'm going to grow, I talked a little bit about last time too. It's called Dara. It's a chocolate lace flower. This is it's a wild carrot basically, but if you've ever seen a carrot bloom, this is a variety that blooms. It's kind of got burgundies and browns and some white coloring in the flowers. The discs, they're a big disc head, and they can be, I don't know, they can be 3, 4, 5 inches depending on how happy it is. They can be huge, and they'll put out a whole bunch of blooms, and you keep cutting it, and for me, they can go all the way into the fall, just like a lot of these other ones, and they'll just keep putting out blooms. And they're one of those types of flowers that sort of disappears in the bouquet. It's a great filler, but it takes up space, and it adds that kind of depth of color because of the deep colors that it is. If you're looking for something a little more dramatic, Dara is a really good one. So I will also a tray of these. And these ones around here, you do have to be wary. They're a lot like dill or carrots. I mean, it is a carrot, but they will also self-seed. And it's like Queen Anne's lace. Around here, the Queen Anne's lace is they grow like weeds. They grow everywhere. The white ones that you'll see. These are similar to that, and I have a few that I just keep letting come back every year, and the plant gets bigger and thicker and stronger. But mostly I grow these as an annual. But like I said, they will self-sow, so be wary. Don't put it somewhere that you don't want that to happen. I'll put a picture up to make sure that you can see what I'm talking about. The big disc flowers. They're so beautiful. I'm running out of words. Beautiful. Everything's beautiful. But like I said, it's sort of a background filler type flower, and it does its job just perfectly. Okay, that's Dara. And then the last one I wanted to talk to is forget-me-nots. These are a classic cottage garden flower that especially around here, because these will also self-sow readily. You'll see them pop up randomly, especially in established old gardens that have been there forever. So they're so sweet. They have the tiniest little flowers on them, sprays of them. I have 2 different varieties that I'm going to grow. One is called Firmament. It's a Chinese forget-me-not, and it's blue. The flowers are blue, sky blue, and they just add sort of a sparkle in the bouquet. And since there's so few flowers out there that are actually true blue, it stands out. People notice it. It's impossible to do a rainbow bouquet without something blue, and this one fits the bill. The other one that I'm growing is called Pink Beauty. I've not actually, excuse me, that was the Saponaria. It's called Mystery Rose. It's another Chinese forget-me-not. This one's pink. I've not grown the pink one before, but I like the idea of it. In all the pictures that I've seen, it looks just like the blue version, only a soft sort of, this kind of pink. Well, that might be a little bright. A softer sort of pink. And it'll do the same job. It'll just be that sparkly little bit that makes you want to reach down and see what it is. Check it out. These are spring bloomers. You can direct sow them, but more often it's better to, if you're going to grow them from seed without just letting them reseed themselves, it's better to start them in a greenhouse or in underlights in your house. You can start them early enough, but they prefer it to be cool when they bloom. So it'll be late spring, early summer when they finally bloom, around here anyway. And that part of the year for us is generally fairly cool. And they will, even after, if you miss the blooms, because sometimes you get going and there's so many out there that you forget to harvest some of these. But even if you miss the blooms, their seed heads are really pretty too. And they'll add something textural to a bouquet. Though I do caution you that if you leave them And like I said, they want to self-seed, but their seed heads they're sticky like Velcro. And if you let your dog walk through your field, or you wear socks or something soft like a sweater, they will attach themselves, and they're somewhat difficult to get back off of you. Just fair warning. But I really like these. They're just that little sparkle. Every bouquet needs something interesting, that's, in my view anyways, something interesting that's a little bit different than just a whole bouquet full of zinnias or a whole bouquet full of black-eyed Susans. You need something textural that makes you look twice at it. And that's what that forget-me-not fills the bill for me. So yeah, I'm gonna get all these sewn. There's nothing unusual about how to sew these. So I may or may not, I'm probably not going to take any film of that, but I just want you to be encouraged that it's the first week in February, and it's a fantastic time to start some of these flowers. And I just wanted to give you some more details and tell you about my favorites from each of these varieties. So thanks for watching. I'm glad you guys are here. If you have any questions for me, or you want to know about a specific type of flower more in depth, let me know in the comments. And then make sure you subscribe to the channel, and it'll help it pop up and help make this more fun with more people to be part of this group. So yeah, again, thank you guys for coming, and I will see you hopefully in the next one. Thanks guys. Bye.